I cracked the code again. Yeah. And when I say crack the code, it means I'm talking about the Fatshedra japonica, the Fatsia japonica, or the Ayango Star Fatshedra. I know it's a lot. It's because I'm talking about that cross, the hybrid between the Fatsia japonica, or the uh, the Japanese Aurelia, and it's a hybrid of that and the English ivy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on, and that's what I'm going to cover in this video. And I'll clear up all that confusion because it's really not too tough of a task to take care of this very special plant. And before I get into it, once again, thanks for liking and subscribing to the channel. And that just helps me continue to put out more future content. But back to the Fatshedra, it is, I'm saying I cracked the code because it didn't start out this way. I've made few attempts to get this, essentially this cocktail, this recipe, this um, just culmination of different practices to make this plant grow right. And for the last, I want to say 2 years since these have been available in my area, I've been doing a lot of trial and error. So I'm going to talk about like what is working to get this plant to come from just a few little stems to it's about 2 feet tall now. And it'll continue to grow. It should get hopefully like maybe 5 feet. That'd be nice. I'd be super happy with that. And just lush. I really just I use it as an indoor plant. So with that being said, I know it generally is kind of more of an outdoor thing in different zones. It would not survive our harsh winters here in my zone. So it's been an indoor plant. And with that being said, outdoors, it could take more of a shade or a shade to part sun. But here in my apartment, I have it actually butt up to a south facing window. And that window is just getting filtered direct sunlight because I have blinds that maybe make the light dapple a little bit. So play around with that. I would say medium to medium bright light is what I'm giving this particular plant, and it's doing really well with that. I have noticed a little bit of browning on the leaves. I don't necessarily think that comes from too much sun. It could be just lack of humidity, things like that. However, I also don't think it's tricky because ivy generally aren't necessarily known to be like humidity hogs, so to speak, but Japanese Aurelia are. So I'm sure there's that interplay or that best of both worlds that you kind of have to find a fine balance with. So I think what I'm saying is the browning is coming from probably a low amount of humidity. However, I do have it grouped up near a bunch of other pots, and I know I have like a tray with pebbles underneath. But other than that, I just give it like a regular potting mix. I'm using I can't remember what kind of potting mix I use with this. Probably like a Happy Frog or like a Fertilome. I've experimented a lot with the HP from, let's see, the HP with the mycorrhiza. I'll put the link in the description. But anyway, just a high quality, well draining potting mix, and you were good to go. I talked about humidity, the sunlight, and watering. Watering, I think, is key to let this thing dry out quite a bit. I think that's where I was going wrong before. I think I was keeping it wet for too long, and I would lose little stems from time to time where I think they were just getting soggy and kind of drowning. So, with that being said, speaking of stems, I had kind of been adding extra stems from time to time from some of the failed attempts. Some of them made it and some of them didn't. And sometimes I would find others in the nursery and I would include them into the mix, into this pot. So let's see, there's one, two, three, four stems in here right now. And who knows how many I started with, but I just kind of been adding to make it more full and bushy. This is technically a climbing plant. I don't necessarily say it is so much a climber, but it just grows vertically and upright, and it's got woody stems. So I think over time, the stems, once they become woody and less of a soft kind of green stem, then they hold that upright position. You might not be able to see it, but there is um, a stake right in the middle, and I've got it wrapped up with some Velcro tape, and that's keeping everything upright. But it's been a fun project. I mean, it's almost taken, a few years to get to this point, and I'm really happy with the turnout, especially when there's very little to no browning, and it has got that marvelous variegation that just holds that bright color. I think it might be my favorite variegated plant that I have. So that's what I got for the Fatshedra. And yeah, keep a lookout for some of those other very finicky, tricky plants. I can already think of a few off the top of my head that have, I think, given everybody trouble. So keep watching, and I'll see you on that next video. Thanks again.